To Double D Podcast. Frank, pleasure for you to be on this podcast. Introduce yourself to the audience.
How you guys doing? I'm Frank. I've been a NASCAR fan ever since I was like 3. I've known Daniel for a pretty long time, and I really like NASCAR. I've been watching it, like I said, since I was 3. I'm watching every weekend, enjoy it to this day, and don't really see any point in my future where I'm going to lose interest. So, I mean, it's a great sport. I love it. And,
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, we met each other back in the NASCAR Heat 5 days, like around 21, I believe. 2021.
Yeah, no, that was definitely fun. I ended up joining you in your one lobby, and then you're like, yo, let's keep racing. And then ever since then, we've just always been like contacting and talking about NASCAR, and here we are now on a podcast.
Yeah. So here that you got into racing since you were 3 years old, may I ask you, do you even remember how and when you got into it? Like, what was your first memories of becoming a NASCAR fan?
So when I was like 4-ish, my dad made this like Martinsville track with like plywood, and he like painted all over it. And I remember like I had like a bunch of like his old diecasts and stuff from like the 90s and stuff, because he like kind of brought me into it. So I was like, all right, cool, I might as well watch it too. And like I said, he made the track, surprised me for my birthday, and then ever since then, I was always playing on it, and then I just really fell in love with the sport and went to some of the races, got picked up on new driver, and, you know, I've just been watching every weekend. Pretty cool, yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool that you got into it that way. Yeah, I remember back when I was a kid just making my own racetracks. No matter if it's from, like, objects in the house. I make it however.
Yeah, no, me and my buddy, we would, like, make tracks, and that was pretty fun. We would go out and, like, find cardboard, and we would just, like, paint them and make, like, little stop motions. That was always fun. I would watch, like, Eric Estep out of the group, as people know him now. Who else? Like, Aflac Cup Series, if you know who that is.
Yes. The Under Armour Cup Series made the best racetracks.
Yeah, I like Under Armour. Under Armour was really cool. And now to this day, I think, like, Mistcraft is, like, one of the, like, higher, more better stop motion races. Those are always like fun to watch. I like to see the crashes, but
yeah, it's comical how they make them. Yeah, it's crazy to see how Eric Estep has developed. He went from just playing with toy cars, and now he's got like over 200,000 subscribers.
Yeah, no, I mean, being like on some of the like Xfinity cars and some of that, that's pretty cool. Like, I don't think he expected being like 18 years old, stop motion, or on his dining room table or any of that, and now he's on sponsors of NASCARs and, like we said, doing very well in his YouTube career.
Yeah, it's insane. I respect that. All right, so, of course, we ask how and when you got into NASCAR. May I ask you, like, what's your favorite drivers? I'm sure you got some favorite drivers.
So, like, when I was, like, 8 years old, like around when Kevin Harvick was kind of, like, just getting out of Richard Childress and Stewart House Racing, I, like, really picked up on him. His red Budweiser car was, like, really cool. So it was actually kind of funny. The year of the 2014 season, I started to like watch NASCAR like a lot, and that's when I picked up on Kevin Harvick, and he ended up winning the championship that year. So it was pretty cool that I was able to like him, and then he ended up winning that year.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I remember when I was 8 years old, that was the first year I was into NASCAR, and the very first Daytona 500 I saw was one Pablo Montoya going into the jet dryer.
Yeah, no, I remember that. My dad was up late watching, and he showed me the next morning. He was like, yo, look, some guy ran into the jet dryer, and the race went on to like 1 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, the only way I remember it, because I didn't really know how to turn on NASCAR races on back then, but my parents were like flipping through channels, and we were watching Daytona. I liked Daytona, and all of a sudden we saw one Paul Montoya go into the jet dryer, and of course it was past my daytime. I mean, past my bedtime. It was unfortunate that I went to bed right after that, because I would have saw a great finish. Matt Kenseth winning that race.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty fun race. I remember watching like the highlights and stuff like that, and it was pretty cool. And definitely the jet dryer thing was pretty funny.
Yeah, and about that race, started on a Sunday, went into a Monday, actually went into Tuesday night because of all the chaos that went on.
Yeah, because of the rain delay.
So
wasn't there a rain delay that year?
Yeah, there was. 2012.
Yeah, okay.
It got delayed into Monday night, and there was already chaos because everybody was like sitting in like their motels and stuff, and all their like their haulers and everything. So that's the
Yeah, no, that
crazy
was
thing about rain
definitely
delays. It
a
just
crazy race.
causes chaos.
Yeah, no, I remember, what was it, 2022, when they raced the Daytona race, the summer race, and they all went into turn one and they all just crashed because of the rain. Horrible by NASCAR not officiating that, but
Yeah, NASCAR and their inconsistencies. That's something we're gonna have to talk about how NASCAR is on other podcasts. But okay, so we talk about your favorite drivers. Okay, what about thoughts on the Watkins Glen race? So Watkins Glen, we just had that happen. SVG dominated, but I think with some of the strategies, it still made it really interesting. The only thing I didn't like about it, there wasn't really much passing. Got me kind of bored at times. But what was your overall thoughts about it?
well, I've been to Watkins Glen in the past, and I was planning on going again this year, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because it definitely would have been a waste of money. I mean, it still would have been a great experience, but a very boring race. I mean, I hate that it only lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes, but it was definitely, in my opinion, one of the better road courses. I mean, I live in New York, so always going there was a blast.
Yeah, I agree. Watkins Glen is one of my favorite road courses. Actually, the favorite road course for me on a NASCAR schedule, because I like how it's like heavy braking and then there's like fast turns and fast straightaways with it.
Yeah, it definitely adds a little bit of mixture of both. I mean, you got all the turns, and then you got the straightaways where they could pass. But in this new, what is it, Gen 7 car we're in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you do not see a lot of passing as what you used to.
Yeah, I noticed that about like the dirty air, not just on like road courses, but the short tracks as well. Once you get behind a car, you can't do nothing after that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely horrible. You don't see that action how you used to, where you see guys going different lanes and really trying to get their momentum.
Yeah, the only place where we saw like the whenever we saw like the Gen Sevens, the only place I think they race well, in my opinion, is like the mile and a half. They're really good on the mile and a half. But that's about it.
Yeah, like Kansas. I mean, Atlanta. A lot of those kinds of tracks.
Yeah. Well, with the exception of Texas, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Texas isn't bad. That's another good one. Charlotte's probably my favorite racetrack.
Yeah. So that's saying about Watkins Glen. Just racing not up to par. I'm hoping maybe they can do some type of changes maybe next year into the next couple of years, maybe up the horsepower and make less drag on the cars, because I think that'd make a lot better racing.
Yeah, no, my buddy went this year, and I mean, I could even see it on the in the race. I mean, the stands were packed. I mean, they're always packed there. There's always a great attendance, but I hope that doesn't decrease, like I said, because of all of how boring it is. I mean, you go, you pay all that money, and then you stay and watch 2.5 hour race with no entertainment. I mean, yeah, granted, the Xfinity race was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that's another thing I'd like to talk
win.
about Watkins Glen. I think they should make more laps at Watkins Glen, because I notice the races are usually too short over there.
Yeah, I don't know. I would hope if it keeps staying like this and really isn't that entertaining, they definitely should make a change, because they're definitely going to lose some kind of audience out of this.
Yeah, and I heard Dale Jr. comment on this in the past, a few years ago, saying that maybe they can use a different layout, like that one layout, where they go into the forest.
Oh, you cut off into that one corner?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I think that'd make it entertaining.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, no matter what, I think the next couple of years, SVG is going to dominate. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's the thing I'd like to talk about.
Bracket.
That brings me the question about this. Will SVG be beaten at the road courses coming up? We only got one more road course on the schedule this year, and that's the Charlotte Roval. But it just seems like he's unbeatable at these road courses ever since he's joined. I mean, of course, he won that street race. It took him a few races to figure out the road course racing, but he's just been dominant.
Right. Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I think the only person that could stop him from this streak that he's been on is the guy that's on your shirt right now. But I don't know. I think he's definitely a generational driver. I mean, he's won 4 in a row now at road courses. I mean, you never see somebody do this. I mean, you compare it to some of these other guys that have dominated at road courses. I mean, you look Chase Elliott. He's been a very dominant driver in the past few years at road courses. But I mean, I think really it comes down to a good debate: who's better, Chase Elliott or SVG? And I mean, kind of leading more. I mean, if you see SVG win at the Roval this year, I think it kind of comes out on top who's stronger.
Yeah, I noticed it's just the fact that the car is completely different because you notice Chase Elliott not as dominant as he used to be in a Gen 7, having to change like his style and stuff. But SVG, with like the type of car they have, he says it's similar to what the supercars used to drive back in when he was in Australia and New Zealand. And this is how he was able to adapt. That's another thing I'd like to ask about SVG. Do you think he would also be a playoff contender? Well, it seemed like Trackhouse was really confident in him because they signed him for a multi-year contract. And they kicked out Daniel Suarez, which I found really interesting. SVG, slow on the ovals, but he's starting to improve. Do you think he'll be a playoff contender? Do you think he'll go further than the round of 16, potentially?
You know, that's a good question because I saw today early. I was reading something. I mean, you look at these first 3 races. I think it's Darlington, Kansas, and then I forget what the other track is.
It's actually Darlington, Gateway, where I go, and then Bristol, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's going to be strong. I mean, he's definitely going to be one of those drivers that's going to be fighting for that 12th position. I don't really see him going any higher than that. But if he makes that 12th spot, I think he's got to have a really strong race at the Roval and maybe even be in a must-win situation because Talladega, I mean, anything can happen there. Yeah. I mean, you can't predict who's going to win, but there's not really any strong favorites. But
let me check that I got the schedule correct because I might have said Bristol, but I think it might be New Hampshire too. Let me check. Okay. You got, of course... we got Richmond coming up, Daytona, Southern 500. Yeah, I was right. New Hampshire is the cutoff. Bristol's not until the next round, at round of 12. I kind of see SVG having a chance to go to round of 12, which he doesn't have to finish with all the playoff points he has. He doesn't have to finish the greatest, but he also cannot fall off a cliff. I don't really see him.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he's going in there and definitely taking it serious.
Yeah. I could see him like Darlington, maybe struggling, not doing as good Darlington. But I feel like he has a better shot of getting a good finish at Gateway in New Hampshire. Because Gateway, you're shifting an awful lot into the corners. And that's something that he's used to doing. And then you have New Hampshire, of course. Remember when they went to rain tires last year?
I'm trying to think. I don't think I watched that one.
Yeah.
You might have to recap me.
Yeah, because New Hampshire, of course, Christopher Bell dominated New Hampshire, but at the end coming towards the end, they went to rain tires, and they were all like 5-7 wide looking for puddles, and I thought it was like the most amazing thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely going to be a difficult first round for him, I would say, but like you just said, a lot of those points from him winning these road courses early on in the year definitely going to help him out. Like, he's not going to have to be cautious, but he's definitely going to have to watch himself. He doesn't want to get in some sort of slump. But
yeah,
and really have to see. I think he's definitely got a good chance at winning.
This is going to be a crazy take, but I think somehow he does advance to the next round. And the reason why I say this is because I think he can average like better finishes. If you notice, like, beginning of this year, he was awful at the road courses, but he's starting to average better and better each time, or at least show some competition speed. But as long as he can get like good finishes there, and then he goes to the round of 12. Remember, the Roval's in the round of 12, and if he wins there, he could have potentially gone to the round of 8, which is insane.
Yeah, that would definitely be pretty exciting to see. I mean, there's first full-time year for Trackhouse. I mean, you don't really see something like that. I mean, yeah, Ross Chastain and maybe Suarez have had their chances, and I mean, Ross Chastain taking it to the round of 4 the 1 year. Very exciting to see, but I mean, I think he's going to be the future of Trackhouse racing, and I don't really see, unless Zilich pulls up, which I think would be the case, because I don't see anybody else that would fill in for Suarez.
Yeah, I heard a rumor earlier saying that Zilich may replace Justin Haley at Spire, potentially.
Spire, yep. Yeah, I heard, like what you were just saying, I think Justin Haley's on the hot seat. I mean, he's had some decent finishes, but I mean, you don't really see, I mean, you see Michael McDowell, he's performing way better than maybe even Hocevar, you could say.
Yeah, here and there. I have a feeling Hocefart's going to have a bright future because of like how his speed is every week. There's like a couple of races he could have won, like Coca-Cola 600. His engine
Charlotte.
expired. Michigan, he was in contention for to win, but he had problems with his car. He's just
Atlanta,
had
he
bad
could have had
luck.
a chance. Yeah. He's definitely had his ups. I mean, even last year, he almost had a chance to win in Atlanta. And just, I don't know. I feel like people see him as the young kid and doesn't really know what he's doing. But I think if he does get some help in some of these races, I can definitely see him being a good driver in the future.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of like a young Kyle Busch, but more likable.
Right, yeah. He definitely brings that fun energy to the sport, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we talk about like a little bit of silly season, a little bit of SVG, but I want to talk about another race that's going on, the regular season championship. William Byron had a really good run at Watkins Glen, finished, I believe, fourth, and gained a lot of stage points, and was able to extend his lead in the regular season championship on Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott, once again, having a horrible pit call made by Alan Gustafson that made him go all the way in the back and finish, I think, around 26 or like in like the top 30s, which really bad for Chase Elliott because that's one of his best road courses, and he still ended up getting a bad finish. And if I looked at like the points just a little bit ago, I think it said is like now Chase Elliott is more than 40 behind William Byron. But here's my question to you: do you think in the next two races with Richmond and Daytona coming up, do you think Chase Elliott can possibly close this gap on Byron and win the regular season championship?
I mean, you look at Byron, he's been hot at these mile-and-a-half racetracks, and then, I mean, obviously a few years ago, he won at Daytona, so, I mean, it's really going to come down to a key factor. I think Hendrick's going to be more together at the 500 race, because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, does Bowman need a win to get in?
Not necessarily. I mean, unless he has, like, a DNF on one of these races.
Yeah, right.
But I think as long as he has a good run, he'll be locked in, because now I think one or two drivers, depending on if we don't get any more upset winners, can lock themselves in on points this weekend.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I could definitely see the Hendrick guys and maybe even some of the Joe Gibbs guys really working together and being one of those top teams compared to, I mean, you see some of these other strong teams that play tracks. You got Penske. Who else do we got? I mean,
anybody
is
pretty
always
much.
Strong.
The plate track.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, anybody's got a chance. That's why I don't know. It's really hard. I think Byron is gonna lock it in though, but I mean, we'll see. I'd hope Elliott would get it, but I think right now he's got to be more focused on the playoffs and really try and make another statement and not, oh, he got it handed down from his dad and stuff like that. Because I mean, he hasn't really shown any zing or anything really ever since 2020, and kind of sucks because I mean he's got so much hype. He's a great driver, and now he's just getting ruined away. And I mean, Alan Gustafson isn't really helping it, considering the fact that they make these calls and he falls all the way back to, what did you say, 2017 finish?
Yeah,
So,
around there.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's the insane thing about Chase Elliott. Of course, he won a championship 2020, almost won it in 21, almost won it in 22. I mean, he was looking good for those years, and then he had that injury. But he bounced back from that injury, but he kind of turned into like a different driver. I was talking about this on my podcast last week, where Chase Elliott kind of reminds me of Carl Edwards now. Like, where he doesn't win as much, but he's consistent with his finishes. But I feel like...
I mean, obviously...
All right, go ahead.
I mean, obviously, he is consistent. I mean, you see he's battling for first. So, makes him very consistent. All right, carry on.
Yeah, so it kind of reminds me of Carl Edwards in a way. But honestly, I don't really see Chase Elliott winning regular season championship because just with how like the pit calls have went with Chase Elliott. I mean, you saw Watkins Glen, Iowa, Dover. I mean, all those races before that. Potentially chances of even Chase Elliott winning just taken away because of bad pit calls. And it's just too much mistakes that are not caused by Chase Elliott for him to overcome. And I see William Byron having more momentum going into the end of the regular season because, of course, he won last week of Iowa. He had a little bit of a slump during the summer, but he's starting to pick it back up. That team's starting to figure things out. So I definitely think Byron's going to win regular season.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it. Like I say, he's a great driver, but I really think Byron is just going to hold off. I mean, he's just a great driver. I mean, you're going to see him definitely win the regular season and have a chance at a shot at his first championship.
Yeah. I mean, could this be the year for him? Because he's been to the championship four so many times, but just hasn't won it.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be pretty exciting to see, for sure.
Yeah, Hamlin's looking good as well. I mean, imagine it's going to be between Byron and Hamlin for the title.
Yeah, if Hamlin's got any shot at winning it, it would have to be this year. I mean, I feel like it almost comes up every single year, but I really think he's really got the energy to get it. And please, dear God, don't let Logano come in and ruin another championship.
Yes. Or even another Penske car.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind Blaney winning it.
Same here.
I like Blaney, but Logano, I cannot. Ever since 2018, when I wouldn't say intentionally wrecked Truex, but I mean, it was pretty obvious. You can debate about it, but ever since then, I really lost a lot of support for that guy. I mean, he's ruined some good chances at championships.
Yeah. I got annoyed by him for like that Matt Kenseth incident in 2015.
Oh my! I will say that was probably one of my best moments ever watching NASCAR. I mean, seeing Jeff Gordon win his final race ever, it was fitting. I mean, you see that battle between the 20 and the 22, and now, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Like I said, I just hope Logano doesn't ruin another good year.
Then, of course, I didn't like him as much because Chase Elliott got into him. Chase Elliott, of course, my opinion, he didn't get into him on purpose because he got loose. And then at Homestead, whenever Chase Elliott was trying to beat Denny Hamlin, he cost Elliott the race. And that's when I hated him back then.
That was at 2017 at Martinsville?
That was 2020.
Oh, never mind.
Same year Elliott won the championship.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the 1 year when Elliott and Hamlin were going at it.
Yeah, that was Elliott and
Martinsville.
Logano wasn't even in the playoffs then. So, Richmond predictions. So, Richmond's coming up. Of course, we've had some upset winners here, believe it or not. Austin Dillon last year. Although he didn't make it into the playoffs, still an upset win. In my opinion, I think he was going to win that race fair and square if that 2-lap to go caution didn't come out. What do you think is going to happen at Richmond?
I got a few drivers in my mind. I think Logano and Hamlin are going to be hot again, but I think a surprise is really going to be Chase Briscoe. I think he's going to find his way and really add a little something else before the regular season ends to Joe Gibbs Racing. And I don't know. I think Chase Briscoe's definitely got a great shot at it this weekend and get his, I think, second win on the year.
Yeah, Briscoe, the new Rocket Man. I mean, he did show some strength at Iowa, but I don't think he has, in my opinion, I don't think he has the speed to win Richmond. I think it's either going to come down to William Byron or Denny Hamlin. William Byron because he's been looking good recently, and Hamlin because that's one of his home tracks.
Yeah. Those are definitely good picks. I could see Byron having a solid race and possibly locking in the regular season championship. But, yeah, no,
I'd always like to predict Larson, but he's just been having a really bad stretch these past few races.
Yeah, honestly, that's fine because he's been dominating too much for too long, and I think it's cool to see some different guys, kind of take over and see some new faces in victory lane.
Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about Richmond, but I have to talk about some other topics that had happened this weekend. In an Xfinity race, Connor Zillage. He was in a battle with SVG. I didn't watch the entire race, but he was battling SVG for the win for most of that race. And whenever Connor Zillage got loose off the track, he came back up and wrecked SVG and put SVG into the barriers. Do you think this was payback from Chicago, or do you think this was just a racing incident by Connor Zillage?
I mean, you saw he obviously came back up into the racetrack. I think if he were to brake very early, it would have been bad for him. But, I mean, it's either or. I mean, Shane ended up winning the day after. But, I mean, it's hard to tell. I think if he slowed a little bit, he definitely would have gained back his momentum just because I think he had a stronger car at the end of that race. And Shane didn't really look – I mean, he was still hot, but I think – Connor Zillage definitely, if he would have slowed down a little bit, keep battling, he definitely would have came out on top and finished that race off.
Yeah. Well, of course, and then right before we had to finish, you had, like, of course, more cautions and stuff. And one of the biggest cautions, the biggest wreck of the race, Austin Hill getting into Michael McDowell. I couldn't really tell by the angle. I don't know. CW didn't really get as good of angles with that incident over there. But it kind of looked like to me that Austin Hill got into Michael McDowell once again and caused that big wreck. And of course, he's under scrutiny once again. Of course, he had that intentional wreck at Indianapolis, got suspended for a race, and then he's causing trouble again. Imagine getting involved in a wreck again after you were suspended. But what did you think about the incident? In my opinion, there's not really much evidence for me to see that he did it on purpose, but I do think it's possible because he's kind of been acting like a brat.
My first question is, do you think Michael McDowell got PTSD?
Yes. Yes, after that 2014 wreck.
Yes. Okay, so when I looked at it, I don't think McDowell really gave Hill enough room. So it almost was like Hill did have to move back up onto the racetrack before he got into the grass. So, I mean, really, he just didn't give him space, and I think that's what led to it all. I don't think it was intentional. I don't think he really meant it, but, I mean, after coming off of one race suspension, after turning Eric Almirola into the outside wall at Indy, it's kind of leading like he was the bad guy in that situation. But when you look at the replays, like we said, it's a bad angle, but I really think there wasn't enough room for Hill to get back up on the racetrack, so he had no other choice than just to hope. And maybe he could have lifted, but it's hard to tell from that angle. So I don't think it's intentional, but some could say it is, some could say it's not, but didn't really look like it.
I agree. And now this leads to Connor Zillage. Of course, he got his 6th win of the year. He was the winner of the race. However, he wasn't the winner falling on the concrete after he got out of the car. Thankfully, he was okay. Looked like a scary fall. Looked like he almost hit his head. It looked like a scarier fall, but thankfully, he got away with just a broken collarbone. Of course, they're not... Yeah, Xfinity Series is not racing in Richmond this weekend, so he does get another race to heal. But then, of course, Daytona's coming up, and they got the other races, and he's got to fight for a championship. Do you think he can heal with his collarbone? Because, I mean, I've seen drivers in the past, like Dale Sr. and Davey Allison, drive with the same type of injury and still race the next week. But, of course, with the safety measures that NASCAR has, it's going to be different. But how quick do you think that Connor Zillage is going to get back in the car? And do you still think he'll still be a championship contender once he heals up?
He'll definitely be in the round of 4 for sure. He's definitely got that momentum, and he's definitely a type of driver I can see competing for his first championship. But I definitely think he'll be back before the round of 8. Collarbones do typically take a little bit longer to heal. I mean, I hope to see him in the car as quick as possible. I hope for a speedy recovery. No one likes to see someone get hurt like that, and
Yeah.
It just sucks to see because he's got a lot of talent, and then he has something like this happen, and now it's costing him races. Not that it means anything because he's locked in, but when it comes to those playoff times, it's really going to come down to those races where it's like, okay, we need to start going. I mean, really trying to get him out of that in the sling and then put him back in the car and, like I said, have a chance at winning the championship.
Yeah, it's insane that this is the second time he's been injured this year. If you remember back at Talladega, he had that big hit into the wall, and then he broke a little bone in his back. I think he had some type of back injury.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely sucks to see something like that happen to a young guy that's got potential. And like I said, I really hope he has a speedy recovery because I think he'll be the championship winner of the 2025 season.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to see what he can do in the Cup Series once he moves up.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's not going to take him long to get up there. I mean, if anything, give him one more year. And, I mean, hopefully doesn't have a bad effect once he transfers over, but I can definitely see him having a lot of potential in this upper league.
Okay. Here's the final question of the podcast. Of course, I ask this traditionally for every NASCAR fan that comes on my channel. What are your favorite 124 and 164 diecast of your collection?
So my favorite 124 has to be this Darrell Waltrip, his classic 17 car. It's the orange on the bottom, and then it goes. What's up?
That's an old one.
Yeah. It goes from white to the gray. I'm pretty sure it was the one where he wrecked at Daytona, and like you could see the picture of his arm hanging out of the car or something.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite car. I'm looking to get like some more Kevin Harvick ones, but I would definitely say that one tops it off right now. And then my favorite 164 car. Oh gosh, I have so many. Probably Kevin Harvick's 29 car that he drove in 2023. That was probably my favorite 120 or 164 car that I have.
Yeah, the All-Star race one, that was a pretty cool throwback. When you were talking about Darrell Waltrip, I thought you were about to mention like his Tide scheme. His Tide scheme is
Oh
pretty
no,
good.
no, yeah, no, that's a very nice car, but that's probably one of my more favorite cars is that one that transfers from white to gray. So yeah, that's really it.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, it was a pleasure interviewing you. Thank you for giving your dialogue and stuff about Watkins Glen and of course predictions on Richmond. Pleasure having you on here. Of course, I'll see you later on in the league and of course maybe another podcast episode.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a pleasure being on. Hope everybody enjoyed it and subscribe. Help
Yeah,
Daniel
thank
out.
you very much. I'm up to 88. 12 more and we can get
Yes,
to
sir.
100.
Grind does not stop. Keep going, be positive, and never give up.
Yes, thank you. Got that John Cena motto.